Hey, what's up guys? Talk Movies with us here, back with another movie review. And this time we watched the Meyerowitz Stories, new and selected, directed by Noah Baumbach, starring one of my faves, Adam Sandler, got Ben Stiller, Dustin Hoffman, Emma Thompson, and Adam Driver pops up for a bit. Dustin Hoffman plays a estranged father to 3 kids. They have 2 boys and a daughter, played by Sandler, Stiller, and the daughter, played by Elizabeth Marvel. And, you know, he wasn't the best dad, right?
No, he was kind of an artist. He was a sculptor, and he's very self-centered. He's very obsessed with his work and his popularity, and he just really kind of pushed his kids to the side.
And the daughter, Elizabeth Marvel's character, is messed up for her own reasons. We don't want to spoil it, so we won't get into those. But it's almost like a competition to try to impress the father, in a sense. Was the father, played by Dustin Hoffman, who's brilliant in this, you know, no matter how successful or how much they struggled, they still were never good enough for him.
Yeah, I mean, he just, like I said in the beginning, he kind of just didn't make time for them. He didn't, you know, help them out while they were growing up.
And through all these characters' hardships, there's one thing that happens to Dustin Hoffman's character that brings all 3 kids back together again, and they haven't seen each other in years. It's, you know, like we mentioned, dysfunctional family. It's like Ben Stiller was, you know,
he's
too
on
busy,
the other side of the country,
on the West Coast, too busy, can't even send an email. You know, everyone was very out of touch, but this one incident happens that brings them all together, and then we get the dysfunction and just the family drama that this film is. That's the base of this movie because there's a lot happening in it.
It's a very, very complex story. It's very true to life in a sense where everybody has a family member that they don't really talk to as much, but like there will always be incidents that happen that you end up having to see that family member, and it almost like brings you together. Usually it brings you together, and that's pretty much what this story is. It's like a coming together, sort of dealing with life. And
the awkwardness that goes along with it. So this is my first Noah Baumbach film I've ever watched. I know he has a very particular style, so I kind of didn't know what to expect going into this one. But I gotta say, I really, really loved it. And one of my favorite parts about this movie, besides the performances, we'll get into those later, but I didn't feel like I was watching a film. I felt like I was just a fly on the wall watching a family go through its troubles, because it felt so real. The whole family dynamic and the conversations they were having, you know. There was a scene where just they're watching baseball on the TV and they're like, oh, what's the score? And they're flipping through the channels, and it doesn't feel like lines. It just feels like you're watching life happen. And that doesn't happen in a movie for me much.
No, I have to agree. I mean, the script and the storytelling was pretty much perfect. I mean, then that rolls right into performances, whereas these characters were able to carry out these scenarios in such a perfect way that it didn't make it seem like a film. And the way it was shot, there was a lot of long scenes where you definitely know that these characters had to know the entire scene. And it looks like, you know, it was just you were sitting at the dinner table with them, or you were, you know, watching a game with them, or whatever the scene was.
So we all know on this channel, if you've been watching it for a while, you've been following us for a while, I'm a huge Sandler fan, and I'm a Sandler apologist. You know, I love his comedies, and I also love his serious roles. I think he's very underrated. But let's give my boy props for a minute. How good was he in this film?
I mean, I'm gonna have to say that he was pretty damn good. I mean, I think that most of the time he should stick to comedy, but it is kind of nice to see him branch out into these roles. I mean, Punch Drunk Love was a fantastic film, and Spanglish was another serious film.
Reign Over Me. A lot of people haven't seen that one, but another good dramatic role for Sandler.
So I wouldn't mind seeing him in more, and it was really nice to kind of see a different side of him. Although I'm not going to lie, some of the things that he said kind of made me like flashback to one of his comedies. Like some of the lightheartedness and the jokes that he was saying in this film kind of took me back to those moments.
He doesn't draw away from that whole Sandler-esque completely, but
he does it respectfully, and he tones it down.
Tones it down, and I guess Noah Baumbach was writing this with him in mind, because even with his musical ability, with him playing the piano and singing, it all meshes well with the script and the storyline.
Yeah, I would have to agree. And, you know, him screaming, like, for instance, there was a scene where parking. I mean, this is in the middle of Manhattan where he's parking the car and he's just screaming at people. I mean, one, it reminds me of this guy, but two, it's very Sandler and it's very real. Like,
how real was that? I was gonna say that was probably one of the most real, like, interpretations of finding a spot in Manhattan.
And parking in Manhattan. Having to miss a spot and then drive around the block just to have missed it. Somebody else is pulling into the spot.
And then the guy's right behind you.
If you have never lived in New York or parked in New York, it is something to experience.
It is something to...
Not to draw away from the movie for a second.
If you could avoid it, but...
Yeah, just take the train, please. Again, his performance was very good. Ben Stiller, I mean, we've seen him in serious roles a lot as well, and he's obviously a lot more known for his comedy and everything, but again, very well performed. I mean, overall, the cast is so strong, and they really have great chemistry.
I would have to agree. That is one of the strong suits of this film because, like we said, it doesn't feel like you're watching a movie. You know, it's hard to get movie stars and be like, I'm not watching this particular movie star. It's like, but you really felt these were real characters, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely didn't see them as, oh, it's just Ben Stiller. Oh, it's Adam Sandler. In order to have a really, really good movie like this, you definitely need to have a very strong script and you need to have a very strong cast. And that mixed with what I guess we could talk about next is the cinematography. It's, you know, it's such a well put together movie. I am in love with the actual storytelling and the art of the entire film. But for me, there's really something that just kind of took me out of it, and I don't know if it's the fact that I probably won't rewatch it. I don't know. There is something there that for some reason when the movie was over, I was like, I didn't love it, but I really loved the way it was done. My
only complaint, and this is a minor one, but there was this piano playing that was kind of like the soundtrack throughout the whole film of this piano, and I didn't mind the piano whatsoever, but the characters were talking, and the piano was the same loudness. Like, it was almost the piano was playing over them. And it was like, all right, I really want to hear what they're saying. I don't need to hear this piano blasting in my ear. You know, tone the piano down. But that's my main complaint, I will say. Other than that, this was, you know, this is really not my style of movie. It's very artsy, but I guess because I love the actors involved and I could really relate to the story, that it really hit me, you know, it really sucked me in. So what would you grade this thing?
I am giving it a B+, and I'm gonna give it a B+. Like I said, there's something that I'm infatuated with it, but at the same time, there's something that really just took me out of it.
I'm gonna go one up, I'm gonna go A-. And this is a film that I feel like, you know, the dialogue and the conversations were so quick and so like day-to-day life, where it's not like a movie where you're laying out every line, you know? So I feel like the more you watch this one, the more you're going to get out of it. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I'll be looking forward to watching this again in the future, but yeah, A-. Definitely an A-. Just tone down that piano a little bit. But, all right, guys, so that is our review of the Meyerowitz Stories, new and selected. Thank you so much for checking out this review, as always.
Give this video a big thumbs up, like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know in the comments below if you've had a chance to check it out and how you felt about it.
And what's your favorite Sandler movie? Comment down below.
And we'll see you guys in the next video.
See you later.